Welcome to the Live Wide Open podcast. I'm your host, Randy B. Ramirez, also known as Wide Open Randy, and I'm here to lead you to become the best version of yourself. This show helps raise the bar for all the motorsport enthusiasts. Holding our wide open is just what we do. Being a great person is who we are, and living our lives to the fullest is the lifestyle that we choose. Man, today we're going to be diving into the topic of reading. Like, do you even read, bro? And I asked that because, man, for a long time, for a very, very, very long time, I was not a reader. Like, man, as a matter of fact, for a very long time, I had never even finished one book from start to finish. And like, and that would amaze me from a good perspective, but from like, damn, I can't believe that I still haven't fucking read a book, right? And then it's just a part of evolution, and it's a part of just becoming more, doing more, right? And then so what I did is I started with audiobooks, right? And I would listen to a lot of audiobooks on my way to work. And then that evolved into me finally deciding to pick up a book and start reading, right? But like now that I read pretty much almost on a daily basis, like I think back and I look back at my experience and I look back at where I came from and the evolution and how I evolved. And I'm like, wow, like, bro, this is all a level up. This is all part of the process. And I'm here to inspire you today so you can pick up a book, so you can start reading, so that you could start evolving your mind to grow and to learn from the experiences of other people that have done it before, that have gone and done it before we have. Like, man, books gives us access to so much knowledge out there, right? Like, and so for a long time I didn't read. And so just like anything, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start reading. And it's crazy because they say that the average CEO reads something along the lines of like 55 or 56 books in 1 year, which is crazy. Like that ends up being like a book and a half per week or something like that, or um, it's a crazy number, right? Crazy number. And I'm like, fuck, that's a lot of reading. Like, I don't know if I can get to that yet. Um, but it's an evolution. It's a process. It's about just it's about seeing really where you want to go and start putting a plan in place to get there, right? And reading just, specifically personal development reading things that advance your knowledge, reading things that help you grow as an individual, really help you elevate your mental capacity in which you think it's even possible, right? And so people really read to advance their lives, right? I mean, I guess let me take that back. There's a lot of non-fiction and fiction readers. There's a lot of people that just read and pick up books, just like if you are watching TV shows, and I'm really not about that reading. The reading that we're talking about here today is personal development reading, some type of reading that you're going to do to advance your knowledge, right? There some type of reading that you're going to do so that you can access the knowledge of other people, right? And then not only that, but you can broaden your perspective. Because the cool part about reading, especially personal development books, is that, man, you learn from other people's mistakes, you learn from other people's hardships, you learn from other people's things that have worked, right? From ancient times up until now, with the Bible being one of the most biblical and level up books really that's been out there. Broadens your perspective, broadens your belief system. It helps you elevate, it helps you grow, it helps you just see things from a different perspective of people who have gone through a lot of things that we haven't gone through. And what it does is that it gives us the opportunity to live life and experience those either level ups, hardships, or things, lessons learned from other people, so that we can apply it to our lives and so that we can grow and evolve and become better men, right? And so reading really enhances your focus because you have to really lock in. You have to really commit to opening a book and fucking reading, and actually putting the time in to do that. And it takes focus. And for a long time, I didn't read because I couldn't focus. Like I remember I would always make the excuse of, nah, but it is, I can't even remember what I read in one page and like this and that. And it was really my lack of capacity that I thought that I was tying around that issue, right? And it wasn't because I couldn't really do it. It was because I hadn't committed to actually uncovering this next level of myself. And that also took discipline. Reading takes focus and it also takes discipline in order to you just to fucking sit down and dedicate time every single day or however you want to dedicate yourself to reading and have the discipline to read, right? And so how I started is I committed to 10 pages, right? 10 pages in one day. And I was like, man, that at the beginning, that was taking me a long time, like for just 10 pages. And now, like I've evolved. I've grown and I read and understand so much more than I used to, all because I've been disciplined with my focus and how I show up for myself in reading, right? And not only that, but that also has expanded my communication skills. It has expanded my vocabulary. It has expanded my way of thinking because I'm literally reading all these personal development books and gaining knowledge, accessing things that normally people wouldn't access because they fucking. The truth of the matter is that everyone is fucking. I always used to be one of them. Too goddamn fucking lazy to pick up a book and feed your mind with some knowledge. It's so much easier to go on social media and scroll. It's so much easier to fucking put on a TV show or whatever or watch YouTube and just kill time really being unproductive and really not growing your capacity, your mental being of who we are becoming, right? And so if you are someone who wants to level up, if you are someone who wants to grow, if you are someone who wants to learn more and not only learn more but apply that knowledge that you're learning, then man, reading is something that I always recommend, right? And so some tips that you can use while you pick up your first book. Maybe it's your first book. Man, I still know. It's funny. One of my best friend's father, to this day, he's like, oh, I've never read a book. I've never read a book from start to finish. And every time I kind of talk to him, he's like a very old school Cuban kind of dude. And he just puts up this wall and all these excuses why he can't read. And I used to see that in myself, right? And I was like, yo, that's just. And so one of the goals that I have is actually to find a small book for my best friend's dad, which is like another father to me, to be able to help him overcome that mental barrier that that we all put up on ourselves, right? Right? We put up these glass ceilings, these mental barriers of why we think that we can't do the thing that really would help us advance in life. And so some tips that I can offer you, right? So that you can start reading some books is really to set some clear goals for yourself, right? Like, um, you know, this year, for example, I'm gonna read fucking 6 books, or this year you're gonna read 12 books, or maybe this year you're just gonna commit to reading that one book, right? Whatever it is, you need to be able to establish a clear set of goals so that you can actually measure, right? And so, like for example, like if you're saying an easy one is a book per month, right? And so, like it's a very easy one to measure, and then you're looking at your goals and you're seeing, like, man, maybe you didn't read yesterday, maybe I didn't read the day before, so maybe you have couple of months, excuse me, a couple of days left in the month. And it's easy to calculate that by just seeing how many pages you have left and then dividing it by the number of days you have in that month. And it gives you a pretty good perspective of what is it going to take to be able to hit that goal, right? And then so once you establish the goal of actually what you want to read this year, right? Or this month or this week or today, right? The next step is really choosing the right book for you, right? And choosing the right book that's going to help you grow. And personal development is such a broad perspective. It's such a broad topic. It's such a, yes, it helps you level up man, but it's so broad in categories. And really, you want to pick a book that's going to help you in a category in your life that you want to grow, that you want to expand. Maybe you want to expand your capacity and your knowledge at work. Well, maybe you're going to read something that's related to your work, whatever it is you do. Maybe you want to expand your capacity and your knowledge in your fitness. You're going to read some fitness books. Maybe you want to expand your capacity and your knowledge with your finances. Well, then probably you're going to pick up some investment books, right? Maybe you want to expand your capacity and your knowledge in your relationships, and how to be a better husband, or how to be a better father, or how to be a better just a human being, a fucking man, right? And you're gonna pick up some books related to that topic, right? Maybe you want to expand your marketing skills, and you're going to pick up some fucking books related to marketing. Whatever it is, you need to be able to establish what you want to grow and what you want to level up, and how you're going to do that is by choosing the right type of books related to that topic that you want to grow. And then it's really creating a reading routine. Like, and I'm big on this, because if you don't set that time aside, if you don't set it, yo, this is a non-negotiable, this is what I'm going to hit, then how are you going to fucking know if you're doing it or not? Because you never even set the time aside to fucking start hitting that goal, right? And so that's very important. Set clear goals of how many books you want to read this year. Choose the right fucking books that want to help you expand in your capacity and your knowledge, in leveling you up in the type of areas that you want to grow in your life. And then really set some reading routines, some schedule, to where you can hit that shit every day. And maybe for you it's not 10 pages. Maybe for you start with one godsend, one fucking page. Everyone's like, oh, I'm only gonna read one page. Oh, I'm not gonna even do that. But you're not even fucking reading right now, right? Imagine if you just say, I'm gonna read one page every single day for this year. Man, by the end of the year, you would have read 300 plus pages, right? Because depending, when this episode comes out, it's already moving into close to February. And then, so really the goal is for you, right? But the goal is for you to fucking start. Stop making those excuses. The level up comes from putting in the work, right? And so another tip that I can give you is really to engage with the material that you're reading. Like, not only just read to read, read to understand, read to process. And a good recommendation that I give you here is forget just reading just to get the pages in. Like, read to understand. That's why, even if it only takes one page that you're reading per day, understand that fully, process that, right? Another technique that I can offer you is really to apply pick up a pen or a highlighter or while you read, so that when you find something that interests you, when you find something that helps you, that you can apply to your life, highlight that shit or write it with a pen. Or I have some notes in my books. I typically always fold a page that is a needle mover, and that I could apply something in my life, and I fucking go back and I use that, right? And another thing that I've done is that I open a notes folder, right? And I put in, as I'm reading, I literally pause my reading and I put in my notes folder some notes for that book that I'm reading that I can implement in my life. Something that's going to help me level up, something that is going to help me, right? Help me in my career, my finances, and my relationships, and my fitness, whatever it is, type of book that is that I'm reading. If it's some fucking gold nuggets right there that I'm finding, not only am I going to highlight it, I'm going to circle it or whatever with a pen, but I'm also going to put it in my notes folder so that I know the fucking highlighted version of what's really touching me. And the crazy part is that, I've read multiple books multiple times, and every time I read a book, even if it's the same one, what's the same one that we're talking about right here, I always find different like things. I always find different nuggets. Because what happens is that you're looking at things from a different perspective. You're literally leveling up every time you're reading a book that's going to help you. So every time we're going through it and you're going through experiences in your life, you pick up things that you didn't pick up before, right? Another thing that I can recommend to you that I don't do that often, but it has been recommended to me, and the reason why I don't do it that often is because I like to go at my pace, is that when you pick up a book and you're reading, you can put the audio book as well at the same time. And it really helps you go through the book a lot faster because you're reading at the reader's pace. And so not only are you reading with your eyes, but you're reading with your ears because you're listening to the book at the same time. So you're intaking the book through, through your ears while you're listening. You're intaking the book through your eyes as you're reading, and in your mind as you're processing it, right? And so it really just helps you intake that information better. I don't really like it that much. A lot of people love it. I'm more of I'm gonna sit down, quiet type of guy, and go through this book, right? And so what I do for reading, is, and it's crazy because I was gonna sit here and give you a list of all the books that I've read last year, and last year was actually was the year that I've read the most books up until now, right? Last year I committed and I made the goal that I'm gonna read 2 books every month last year, right? And I did. I read fucking 24 books, and towards the end I was a little like fuck struggling because I fell a little bit behind. but I caught back up and I got it done. And I did read 24 books last year, right? And I was going to sit here and give you a list of all the books, but fuck that. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some advice as you're picking up and reading. And this is why for me, this year, I'm doing things a little bit different, right? This year, my focus is not to read 2 books a month. And the reason why I was doing that is because as you know, as we opened this episode, I shared with you that the average CEO reads 50 plus books a year, right? So I was like, bro, I'm fucking trying to level up. I'm trying to fucking grow. I'm going to be that motherfucker, this and that. And I was like, I'm going to read 50 something books. That's just, I haven't grown to that capacity here, right? And so this year, what I'm focusing on, instead of hitting 2 books a month, because a lot of times I find myself just kind of reading through, and I got just a lot of things going on. I find myself just kind of just getting through the pages just to get through the book. And so this year I'm slowing it down. I'm doing 1 book per month, but I'm really focusing on nailing down and really processing the information that I'm reading, in addition to reading the Bible every single morning, right? And that's why things got a little complicated for me last year, is because I started reading the Bible, right? And I committed to reading the Bible every day. And on top of that, my personal development book, on top of that, my fitness routine, on top of that, my meditation, on top of that, man, all these other things, plus work, life, balance, fucking hobbies, it gets it can get hectic real fast if you're not disciplined, if you're not scheduled your routine. So this year, doing things a little bit different. Every year we evolve, every year we grow, every year we look back to see what worked, what didn't, and we go ahead and implement with new strategies, new lessons, new applications that we've learned, right? And so to kind of wrap things up with this episode is really, I want to ask you one question, right? Is what books are you going to commit to reading this year, right? Man, the level up happens as you read, and there's so much valuable information out there in the books and the knowledge, fucking information from years of history. And the crazy part about it is that people will literally put their game plan of how they made their millions, how they level up, how they changed their mindset, how they expanded their capacity, how they grew everything in their life. And if a lot of times, if you were to apply those principles into your life, you're like, yo, and you look back, you're like, yo, well, damn, bro, that shit really helped me. That shit got me a raise. That shit help me level up in my mindset. That should help me level up in my fitness. That should help me level up in my relationship. I'm a better man because of that book that I read. And I find myself giving books as gifts now that I'm consider myself a fucking vivid reader, right? And so what books are you going to commit to this year, like to reading, right? Like what topics really interest you, right? And once you figure out the topics, how many books are you going to commit to reading this year, right? Maybe for you it's like me, 1 book a month. Maybe you could do 1 book a quarter if you're just starting off, um, and really establish your consistency of reading. What do you commit to reading? Like, are you going to commit every day? The easiest challenge that I can give you is read 1 page every day, because it's all about consistency, building that consistency. And maybe it might take you a little longer to get through that book, but I promise you, once you start seeing the progress, and once you hit a month of 30 days and you've only gone to 30 pages, but you've understanding and you've seen to yourself and you've proved that you can show up for yourself every single fucking day to read that 1 page, you're gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna fucking do 2 pages now, right? And then maybe you're gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm gonna do 5 pages now, right? And how I typically do it is I try to read a chapter a day, right, to really process the information. And so, what are you gonna commit to? What topics are you gonna be about? What is the count of books that you're gonna read, and how is the consistency that you are gonna apply this to your life, right? And then really the challenge that I want you to walk away with today is I want you to select, we talked about how many books and all this stuff, but really let's nail this down. Let's get this to the most basic approach possible, right? I want you to select just 1 book for right now. Like, yeah, you want to, grow and expand your capacity and do all this, but let's start with 1, because before you even can get to the 2, 3, 4, 5, you need to be able to start with the 1, right? So what is the 1 book that you're going to select to start reading, and what commitment are you going to agree, are you going to hold to yourself to doing it, right? Are you going to just do the 1 page every single day? Maybe you're going to be 2 pages every single day. Maybe you're going to be 3 pages. Maybe you're going to do 1 chapter a day. I don't know where you are in your reading journey, but really commit to this, right? Start. Make the challenge for yourself. Decide to level up. Decide to grow. Decide to fucking become a better man and learn and apply the knowledge that you're picking up from these books, right? I'm going to leave you with the quote, really nice one. And this one it actually hit me hard. And when I found it and I read it, I was like, yo, I gotta share this with my people, right? Right. And it's a quote by George R. Martin, right? And it says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The man who never reads only lives once." That's crazy, right? And it really does apply, because think about it. Every time that you read a book, you're intaking someone's knowledge that they have gone through life, right? And so if you read a lot of books, you're literally living lives, multiple lives, as you read that book, because you're getting the experience of what those people are sharing. But yet, if you're a man who never reads, then you only get to experience your life only once. Let's get to work. Let's get this going. Let's evolve as human beings, as men, that we want to grow, we want to expand, and we want to become the best version of ourselves. Yo, I'm driving the checkered flag deep into the ground, and I'm calling all the motorsport enthusiasts who want to improve their situation. Let's break free from all the shit that's been holding us back, and let's become the badass motherfuckers that we're all meant to be. Breaking the stereotype is exactly what we're here to do. This movement is called Live Your Life Wide Open, and helping others level up is the mission that God has tasked us with. If by any chance you still haven't subscribed yet, man, go ahead and smash that button so that you never miss another episode. And if you connected with today's message, man, please do me a favor and share this on your story, and make sure that you tag me, because at Wide Open Randy, because those are the actions that help more gearheads to really see and hear about this podcast, and ultimately, that's how our community grows. I'll catch up with you on the next episode. But till then, live your life wide open, my friend. Peace.